There is a drug called PH4 in circulation. Please don't take it. When I was in college in 2010, I was pretty heavily involved with some serious drug trading. I had always kind of been a party animal, and usually if I wasn't high off of one thing I was drunk off another. Drugs and alcohol consumed most of my life, so I figured that I'd make some money off of that bad habit of mine, and got into the business. It's sure as hell not easy or safe money, I'll tell you that, but it was the best money a college kid with several criminal charges was going to get. I sold all sorts of shit, weed, crack, heroin, ecstasy, you name it. Nothing was off the table for me, and if there was a name for it I probably had it. I'm not proud of it, but a guy's gotta make money, you know? And it saved me money being able to supply my own addictions. It was easily one of the darkest times of my life. I'd lost most of my real friends I'd had since elementary school, and I was rolling with the worst crowd you could imagine. Fellow dealers, mostly, and I hung out with some of the people I dealt to as well. I was in and out of jail and rehab, and my parents had cut me off since I was using their money to fund my habits. I was failing most of my classes and about to be kicked out of school. I was hardly lucid half the time, but when I was, I felt like shit. I wanted out. So you can imagine that I'd take the first opportunity I had to build myself a new life, no matter what the cost. I should have known right off the bat that there was something odd about Ben, but I wasn't the brightest at the time. He was definitely unusual, though. I'd seen Ben in the shadier parts of town where most of my dealing took place multiple times, and the first few times I thought he was a cop or a private investigator or something else that meant bad news. He wasn't, though, just looked it. Even in alleys and slums I never saw him without a freshly ironed clean suit on and his blonde hair done up all fancy like. He wasn't old, exactly, but he definitely wasn't young either, not by our standards. Maybe in his early to mid-30s. Can't say for sure. Ben was lurking around our crowds for a while, never buying, never making a move, not doing much of anything. Just observing, it seemed, which was threatening in itself. There was talk about getting rid of him, and maybe he caught wind of it, because after he approached me with a job offer I never saw him again. It was a sketchy offer, but it was a real nice one. He introduced himself as just Ben, no last name, no title or anything. And Ben had this case of big white chalky capsules, which he told me was the newest drug on the market. Something he called PH4. He wanted me to sell them to people. There was supposed to be a good bit of money in it for me, a few grand or so, which I saw as a one-way ticket out of my life and into a better one. It was definitely weird. I'd been sold fake shit before, and I knew better than to take shit off of people I didn't know. That was rule number one in the business. Drugs can be laced with anything. People can rat you out. Too many risks. But the money, well, even the idea of it was too good to pass up. Besides, it wasn't like he was asking me to try it. Even if it was laced with rat poison, it wouldn't be me ingesting it. I know, that's a terrible way of thinking, but I was a terrible guy. I wasn't above throwing other poor folk like myself under the bus at that time if it meant personal gain. I can't say I'm proud of it, and there's probably a door in hell with my name on it, but there's no changing the past. Anyway, I don't need to tell you that I took the offer. Ben didn't even want money for this giant case full of probably 300 pills. I thought, hell, there isn't a single loss for me in this deal. I guess there wasn't. But there were losses in it for other people. I still don't know who exactly Ben was. Was he a victim? Ignorant, like me? Was he trying to get the capsules out there on purpose? But I'm getting ahead of myself. I sold the pills, like a good dog, just as Ben had asked. My regulars bought them off me quick, and I was making nice money off the capsules themselves, about $50 a pop, depending on how much I could haggle. I never tried a capsule myself, thank the good Lord above, though I was tempted to. People were coming back for them. They liked them, said they were similar to ecstasy. I guess they were built to be addictive. At first, it was as fine as selling drugs could be. I was saving up, hoping that Ben would come through and I'd be able to drop all of that horrific stuff. Then, people started getting sick. It all happened so quickly. One day, things were normal, and the next you'd have thought the fucking bubonic plague had swept through the town. People were dropping like flies. First came the vomiting of the blood. In my life, that wasn't all that unheard of by me. My friends and I were all junkies and had bad trips every now and then. Didn't think much of it. But it got worse. God is my witness, so much worse. I'm not a doctor, and only one of my friends was hospitalized briefly before he died, so I don't know what exactly the PH4 pills did. And I'm sure as hell not smart enough to make a conclusion, either. But from what I saw, all I can describe that sickness as is a slow rot from the inside out. I think the stomachs were the first to go, hence the vomiting. Then the organs followed suit, right along with their skin. The skin, Christ. It happened within hours, it seemed. Their skin paled, looked almost bluish, like a corpse. It started to flake off, also not unlike a corpse, revealing the slowly decaying flesh beneath. Most of the people I knew went blind in at least one eye before they died, Guess it got to the eyes at some point too. Their fingernails cracked and fell off, their hair fell out in clumps. Eventually they'd just die. Their heaving, pained breaths would stop and that would be the end. It was like watching an already dead body decompose in a matter of hours. It was chilling. I watched 5 of my friends go like that. I'm sure more came after them, and more will yet. Yet, the fucking news was silent. Not a single story, not even a tiny 1-paragraph mention in the weekly paper. My friends didn't even get obituaries. They were cremated and had their remains taken away, because their bodies were deemed a biohazard and most of them didn't have families to take their ashes. I am so angry. So bitter. They deserve more. That's why I'm here, /no sleep. I told you before, I'm not a smart man, nor a good one. But I know they deserved better than that. It might sound crazy for me to say it, but here's as good a place as any. I'm almost positive that a higher power was behind this. I don't mean demons or aliens. I mean our fucking government. I think that was a cleansing of sorts. Ridding society of the bottom feeders, the undesirables. That disease wasn't fucking airborne. I didn't catch it, and nobody from the hospital caught it. It wasn't some mini zombie apocalypse. The only thing all of the victims had in common were those fucking PH4 capsules. Capsules that I fucking gave them, which were given to me by a mysterious posh man in a suit that was lurking in our neighborhoods. It's not a secret that the government hates drugs, and the people that take them. They don't care about addicts' lives or problems. What lengths would they go to in order to get rid of them? I like to think I'm living proof of just how great those lengths might be. Please, no one, addict or otherwise, take any strange white capsules. I don't know how many are in circulation, but I would imagine that it's quite a bit. Maybe I'm wrong about the government, maybe it was a freak accident or a bad batch of otherwise mostly harmless pills. But I'm not about to take that risk, or let others take it. There are bad things in the world. Please watch out for yourself.